leading 68-66. Kings catching the Bucks on a good situation. They played last night, and they're resting Chris Middleton. What concerns me a little bit about this, Ryan, is I thought the Kings played a perfect offensive first half. 20 assists and only
Yep.
2 turnovers, and yet they're losing by 2. That they should be winning this game, but they're not.
Yeah, I hear you, Grant. I mean, one place that you could point to is the free throw line disparity. Milwaukee, 19 free throws in the first half, 16 of 19. And my goodness, can anybody count to 10 in the Fizzer form right now when Giannis is at the line?
I know.
But yeah, that's the big difference in the game, Grant. But I mean, from a Sacramento standpoint, even defensively, I think this is about as good as you could have asked for if you're Mike Brown.
Defensively?
I think as a whole,
As a
offensively
whole.
and defensively, yeah, as a whole, I think the Kings tonight, and like you said, you catch Milwaukee on the second night of a back-to-back,
Yeah.
but
You're right.
they're executing tonight, Grant.
Yeah, they are. Hey, we wish you a good recovery in the hospital. We appreciate you watching us from there, and we're thinking about you, and we hope that you get out of the hospital soon. We got Italy checking in, and everyone else. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of a different take. I'm not happy if I'm Mike Brown. Okay,
Okay.
my team just played a flawless first half offensively. Okay, and when I go by four numbers when I look at whether your offense is flawless or not. And we bring in Jerry Reynolds. I look at field goal percentage, I look at 3-point percentage, I look at assist, and I look at turnovers. Okay. When I look at those four numbers, Jerry, okay, they all jump out at the chart at me. All right. The Kings shoot nearly 50%. They shoot 45% from three. They shoot 100% from the line. They had 20 assists and only 2 turnovers. So that half offensively, I give them an A, but they're down 68-66. So I'm a little concerned about that, Jerry.
Yeah, well, I am too, and I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, they can't play any better offense. That was a great half.
Yep.
You know, I mean that is a championship level offensive half right there.
Yep.
But the other team, you've got to do a better job finding some way of slowing them down. You know, I think the real risk with this Bucks team is, you know, you've got to give second player help on both Lillard and Adetokounmpo, and that's allowed the Beasleys and the Bobby Portises to really do a lot of damage. And that's kind of, I think, what the difference is. You know, I mean, Beasley's a good player, Portis is a very good player, but they shouldn't be able to do that much. But they're getting open looks, and
that's a great point. And guys, we also have to add they're playing without Chris Middleton. He's resting in this game. One of their best players.
Well, they're a championship contender. I mean, they had the best record in the league last year. They won the championship the year before. They're one of 3 or 4 teams that will, if they're healthy, can win it. That's for sure.
Ryan, what's wrong with Sacramento's defense again? We keep on talking about this, and again, I understand you got Adetokounmpo and Lillard, but you don't have Chris Middleton, and we keep on saying this. This Kings team defensively, they can't stop anybody. You know, they when especially in their losses. I think we always tend to talk about their defense more with their losses than the offense. And I'm not saying they're going to lose this game, but it's very difficult to win in the NBA when you give up 68 and 70 points and a half.
It really is, and in this case, I'm going to throw the E word out there, the excuse. I'm going to excuse it because I think the Kings' defense was not terrible in the first half. Now, they need to play without fouling. We talked about the free throws already, but what I was actually really, really happy with was Mike Brown adjusting and throwing a different look at Giannis by putting Alex Len on him. And I felt like that kind of flustered the Bucks and got the game a little bit more up tempo, but then Giannis getting to the line slows things down. So I think the defense is better than we're giving them credit for.
Jerry, what did you think about the Sacramento defense in the first half?
Well, I think, like I said, I think the biggest problem they have is just having to put extra pressure, extra defenders on those 2 guys. Now, the second thing, the only real criticism I might have, and I agree with Ryan, I really like the idea of Alex Len and Domas playing together at times. I think that's no reason you can't continue to do that, get a little more size. And, of course, the fouling, but Giannis is going to get to the free throw line. That's that's who he is, and he gets bailed out a little bit,
Yep.
but he's impossible to guard. But I think the Kings are making a mistake really doubling out high so much. It puts them, you're seeing basically there's really a lot of effort and hustle. I'm not, you got to
Yeah.
admire that, but when you're running and you got two guys chasing a dribble around at 35 feet, it just breaks you down if you're not going to get the steal. And I think I guess it was me, I'd play a lot more conservative. I'd back it in there a little more, protect the paint because of and just take your chances with Lillard going off.
All right, so let's get some final score predictions. Rhino, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a fun second half. I think
do
you're
too.
going to have much of the same. 7 times tied, 7 lead changes, but I think Milwaukee ultimately gets this one. 128, Sacramento 123.
Yeah, I think it'll be Milwaukee 132, Sacramento 126. And love to be wrong, but
I'm right in there. I'm going to go 130, 124, Milwaukee. Their experience at home. Yeah, I know they played last night. I know they don't have Middleton, but I don't like the chances of the Kings winning a close game with Lillard and Antetokounmpo on the floor. And I know the Kings have Fox. I get that. But we know what Lillard and Antetokounmpo can do in a tight game with a couple minutes left. And that's a very difficult chore. So, and the other aspect, again, Sacramento with 20 assists and 2 turnovers in the first half, and yet they trail. They're not going to end up with 40 assists and 4 turnovers for the game. I mean, if they do, they're going to win. But
yeah,
I don't see that happening.
Well,
the other thing too is the Kings, their 2 main guys, Fox and Sabonis, have been brilliant.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if they can play better. So, basically you're counting on, I think, and it could happen. I mean, Keegan could go off for 15 in the second half, and, you're going to really need somebody come out of the woodwork that you're just not counting on to get the win here.
Yeah, Grant, I was going to say really quick, and I'm encouraged actually, Jerry, because the Kings have only played 8 guys in this game. Mike Brown's kept it really, really tight, and it looks good. They're hustling out there, but you look at what the Kings have done. Sabonis, 10 assists on his own in the first half. That means the Kings are playing inside out offensively,
yes,
which encourages me in the second half. That means that 3-point percentage usually is only going to go up.
That's a great point. And you know what I mean? I think as credit to Sabonis, he's moving the ball quicker. In other words, like we've seen in the last game or so, where they sending a double guy on him immediately and forcing.
Yes.
And he's trying to play against the double team. He's not trying to play against the double team now. And I think that makes a lot of it. As soon as the double's coming, he's finding shooters.
The Kings starting forwards are a combined 5 of 14 with 1 rebound. That you can't have that. I mean, Harrison Barnes has no rebounds. Keegan Murray has 1 rebound. Keegan's having one of those games where he's not shooting well, but as we've seen in the past, I mean, that can change in a hurry. But you got to have more production from your forwards there. I know Fox has been great. I know Sabonis has been great, but come on.
Yeah, I'll give Keegan a little bit of a pass. I'll tell you why. He's guarding Lillard. And so you're not going to be on the defensive board when you're guarding Lillard.
Okay, fair enough.
Point.
Fair enough. And I'm good with that. And I think his defense, once again, stands out to me. I think that, really, I think that's been a big, Jerry, you talk a lot about his offensive improvement in points per game, field goal percentage. I personally think his biggest improvement this year has been on the defensive end of the floor.
Well, I wouldn't argue that. I mean, I think he's improved in every area. But I mean, he is basically the go-to guy on defense. They try to put him and as a second-year player, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Ryan, this game's right there, and let's not underestimate the importance of this half. If you win this game, okay, no matter what happens in Phoenix, this is a very good road trip. Okay, if you lose this game and lose in Phoenix, this is a bad road trip because the Detroit and Charlotte games, for all intents and purposes, were layups. All right, this was a 3-game road trip against Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Phoenix. All right. So if you can win just either this game or the Phoenix game, all of a sudden, no matter what happens, this is a very good road trip. But it can also turn into a bad road trip.
Yeah, good point, Grant. Here's what I want to see. I want to see what the Kings learned from their first encounter with the Boston Celtics. The Kings are positioned exactly the same tonight. Boston came out in the third quarter, blew them out. And I feel like Milwaukee's second in the East in that same tier as Boston. Show us what you learned.
Yeah, because when you played Boston, you didn't have Tatum, you didn't have Horford. This game on the road is right there for the taking, and
it's right there.
Yeah, it is right there. And again, Bucks played last night, so we're going to keep an eye on their shooting from in their fourth quarter. And again, they don't have one of the very best players on the floor in Chris Middleton, who normally kills the Kings. So it's right there. Go out and grab it. Go out and get it done.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just you just got to stop two of the greatest scorers in the history of the game. That's all.
Yeah, not too hard. But Jerry, at the end of the day, isn't it make Lillard beat you with the way that he struggled shooting over the past week or so?
I agree totally. I mean, and we know he can do it, but I would pack the paint and make it almost really it tough on Giannis and try to keep him off the line as much as possible. And hey, right now Beasley's shooting the ball better than Lillard. So why are you leaving him in order? So I guess that would be my take. Go ahead and play him straight up for a while and see what happens. You can always go back to doubling if you have to.
Yeah, but it's not like Lillard shooting the ball poorly tonight. He's not shooting the ball badly. He's shooting 4 of 9 and 2 of 4 from 3. Now, I know that's not what we normally see from Damian Lillard, but it's not like he can't put the ball in the ocean. But Jerry makes a good point on Beasley. I mean, he's 4 or 5, and he made all 3 of his threes.
Yeah, Jerry.
He's proven he can. All right, now he and Bobby Portis, like I say, by some of the doubles they have gotten, and they're both good players, especially Portis. I've always been a fan of him, but you can't just give him open looks either. He's too good.
Want to let everyone know. Go ahead, Ryan. I just wanted to let everyone know we're going to be on post-game, and we're also, Ryan, we have been incorporating calls. So you can join us on the post-game show. You can actually join us on the screen, or if you don't want to go with video, you can just go audio only. But we're going to put a link up on the post-game show so you can interact with us. Sorry, Ryan. Go ahead, buddy.
No, that's great. I was going to say Portis, that's another thing. He's also killed the Kings a little bit in this first half with isolation. He's backed down a couple of their defenders. Keegan Murray, second half here. He's gotten good looks in the first half. I think he could have the same advantage in the second half.
All right. The second half getting ready to begin. Jerry, thank you very much. Enjoy your Sunday evening.
I will. And boy, a beautiful half. Just need a little bit better one in the second. You guys will have a gorgeous show.
Okay. Brian, we'll see you in an hour, buddy.
Sounds good, partner.
Enjoy the second half, everybody. We'll be back here on If You Don't Like That following the game. So long.